All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody can hear me. If you can, turn on your cameras. It's great to have you with us. Every Tuesday, we are here and out there in California. Ann's just one of the faithful. She's always here every week. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Thanksgiving week. Who's ready to eat? I'm ready to eat. Heck yeah, I am ready to eat, take a couple days and shut things down for a little bit and regroup family time. So anyway, guys, hope you're having a great week. Hope you're getting excited for this next year. I think 2025 is really going to be a big year. I really do. I just get that sense. I think just across the board, agents I'm talking to on a daily basis right now, I think there's a lot of some enthusiasm in the air, definitely for I think where things could possibly go in this next year. So anyway, I think there's a big built up demand. So it's a great time right now to really be getting set up in a big way for 2025. I think there's going to be a lot of agents capturing a lot of market share come January, February, because you're going to have a lot of agents pulling back and sitting back and it's the holidays and whatever. And yes, enjoy the holidays, but it's really 2 days. I mean, you got Christmas Day, you got Thanksgiving, and enjoy the holidays and get that good family time in. But it's a great time to really be working on your business and getting set up for this next year. So anyway, appreciate you guys being here. Kathy, why don't you go ahead and introduce Jamie? Excited to have Jamie here today.
Oh, okay, awesome. So we're in for a treat with Jamie today. So Jamie is a top realtor. He's a five-time icon with EXP. If you're with EXP, you know what that means and what a big deal that is. Jamie's been doing real estate for 17 years. He was recognized as one of the top 250 solo agents in the whole U.S. for EXP. And he was also recognized by Real Trends. So he recently was invited to a top producer mastermind in Miami. And Jamie also publishes the Brookwood Family Living, and he owns Atlanta Strings Music Store in the Atlanta area. And he's a single dad to two awesome teens, and he's also the author of a book called 21 Days to Surrender. So quite a diverse background you have, my friend, but rocking in the real estate space. And we thank you for being here today.
I appreciate the invitation, Kathy. Kathy's been one of my mentors for years and years and years and years. So I really appreciate how Kathy's poured into me, and it's not just pouring into me, but also the friendship. You've been a good, not just a good mentor, but a good. You and Steve have been a great friend for my family. So I appreciate you very much. All right, so are we ready to rock and roll, y'all? Let me feel the energy. I know we're on Zoom, but we can feel energy on Zoom, right? All
Bring it
right,
on.
there we
Bring
go.
it on.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so we can get rolling, and we're gonna have some fun this morning. Let's see if we can grab. Of course, I did all this before, and everything was working just fine a minute ago. All right, here we go. All right, so let's go into here. Let me move this out of the way. All right. And let me do one more thing. I think I forgot to hit one setting on the share screen. Yeah, there we go. Just making sure we're good. All right. So finish strong, start stronger. Today is about your game plan, not my game plan, but your game plan to dominate in 2025. And as Sean was referencing earlier, we still got time left. We got about 6 weeks ish, give or take, left, 5 weeks left in the year. So the question becomes, what are you going to do during your 5 weeks? And before we get started, we'll have a little bit of fun here in a minute. But let me give you a quick story, because we say in business we say facts tell and stories sell. So let's go back to a little story time. And Brianna, being a teacher, she knows we are edutainers, right? You have to entertain your students in order to get the point across. So back in 2020, we all had an interesting 2020, right? A lot of us had an interesting 2020, but I had a more interesting 2020 than I think a lot of people. And I had I'll call it opportunities. I had some opportunities in 2020. I had been married for 25 years. She decided to leave in 2020. And it gave me, Lila just handed me the kids. Hey, you take the kids, I'm out. period. So I've been a full-time dad. You know, they live with me full-time, hardly ever see their mom. Then my dad died of COVID at the same time. Then the music store, I had to fire the manager at the music store. I had never had to fire anybody before. Never been a retail store owner before. That was interesting. And the person who was the manager at the music store, it was a family friend. And I had done 27 years of Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter. My kids called his parents grandma and grandpa. I've never spoken to them again. They pretty much just disowned us after we fired their son. Then I had to sell the married house, buy another house. I had a car accident. I had a rental property that had an insurance claim on it. And all of this happened in 4 months. And I still sold 62 houses that year. And I didn't have to make any, do you think I ever picked up the phone to prospect? Of course not. I mean, I had all that stuff going on. And so I had to inspect what I expected. And despite everything else that was going on, I had to step up. So I could either fold up or step up. So I decided to step up. So I don't know what you've gone through. I don't know what you've been through. We all have, I would say, baggage. But I would encourage you today, a good friend of mine, Jefferson Santos, he said, you want to carry luggage, not baggage. And so today we want to carry luggage. And before we want to, because luggage is encouraging, right? We want to go. Like we want to go to Hawaii, you want to go to Italy, or wherever it is you want to go. So before we jump right in, let's just have a little bit of fun. You see my picture with me in the saxophone. And one of the things I love about how we do things, and when we go to a trainings don't have to be boring. Like today's training, I promise you, is not going to be boring. They don't have to be boring. So let's have a little bit of fun. And that did not work, okay? So let's see if we can go back. Okay, we're getting ahead of myself here. Okay, let's see if this will work this time. There we go. So let's have a little bit of fun. This was at one of our real estate trainings, and one of our great agents, and so we like to have fun. Business should be fun. It should not be something that is not fun. Did that look like we're having fun? Was that any? Have you ever been to a teacher training like that, Brianna, where you had fun like that?
No.
No, they were terrible. Like, oh my gosh, those staff meetings were, oh my goodness. And with me teaching music, that never had anything to do with me. It was always to do with academic stuff. So before we get really rocking and rolling, I want to do an exercise with you guys. And Kathy knows exactly what I'm going to do here in just a minute. So I'd like you guys to close your eyes, because the 2024 may not have been, for a lot of people, it's not been what they thought, right? Maybe they're having a down year from 23 to 24. But we want to kind of put it in context right now. So I'd like you guys, we're going to breathe in for 4 and out for 4. And we're going to do something different. We're going to do it 3 times. And on the 3rd time, we're going to do something different. Okay. So we're going to breathe in for 4 and out for 4. In for 4, out for 4. Now, in this last one, you breathe in. And when you exhale, I want you to yell, sigh really loud. Okay, ready? In for 4. Now do something exciting as you exhale. What this allows us to do, it may seem a little silly, but it helps us to be grounded and centered. It helps us to be centered onto where we want to go and what we want to do. And we don't have time in this particular training, but a lot of times what we would do after that is do a quick visualization of where you want to go. and what do you want? What do you want? And so as we're going to go through this, I want you to think about what it is that you want. And let's think about what's actually happened in 2024, because it's not bad news. In fact, in Georgia, listings were up 39% year over year. Okay, we talk about no inventory. Well, guess what? Listings are up 39%. Also, that also means, though, across the state, we're at 54 days on the market. What happened to the 3 days on the market or 4 days on the market that we had in 21 and 22, or even parts of 23? All right, so let's look at these stats real quick to help give you guys some ammunition as you move forward. Existing home sales grew month over month in October by 3.4%. So October was better than September nationally. These are national stats because this is a national call. Pending sales increased month over month in September by 7.4%. And across the US, 409% average price with a 6.22% interest rate. Guys, 6.22% is the lowest the interest rates has been since 2022. And we know the market was like super hot in 2022, right? I had a great year. So I don't look at this as being bad news. I look at this as being great news. That means people are actually out there buying. Existing home sales grew by 3.4%. That's a good thing. That means we're in an accelerating market. We're in a market that is going up as opposed to going down. And that's not what you're going to hear on the news. All right, so be careful what you're listening to. Be very careful what you consume, because you want to make sure you go to where the real stats are at. I think you can trust, a National Association of Realtors, or you can trust Real Trends, or you can trust some of these other people as opposed to listening what the mainstream media is saying. So markets are going up. I'm actually having a really busy, I have another, 4 closings, 5 closings before the end of the year. This is December, y'all. We're not supposed to do well. I do well in December every year. Like October, November, December, I typically almost will do better than I do during the summer sometimes. So there's a lot that you can do. Now, what can you still do? How are we going to end this year strong? I'm going to give you some tools here in just a minute. But I'm going to give you one nugget that's not on my slideshow. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think about investors. There are investors right now that would love to figure out ways to invest their money for tax benefits before the end of the year. Now, what is one thing you can do? Well, you can maybe help them flip a house. You could look at wholesalers or look on the MLS for good values. You could do that. I would say I'm not adverse to hard work, but it is a lot of work to find the right one and do all the numbers and roll the numbers. Or this is what I'm doing and how I'm approaching my investors. And I just had a closing yesterday. And let's check about this closing. Now, this is a little bit south of Atlanta, which the prices are a little bit less south of the city than north of the city. We bought a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house built in 2021. Check this out, y'all. $294,000 for a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house. And what we're going to be doing, his payment is going to be $1,950 a month. He put his 20% down. His payment's going to be $1,950 a month. Now what we're doing is we're going to turn it into government housing. And the government will pay $3,003 a month for this and rent, guaranteed, direct deposited into your account. Now, if you're questioning what that cap rate is or what your cash on cash return rate looks like in that scenario, that's a 15.5% cash on cash return. Sean, would you like to buy a house like that? Is that a good enough rate of return for you? 15.5% cash on cash.
I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're not sure how to figure out the cash on cash return, basically what you do, here's what his down payment was. So in his case, $68,000 down, and he's going to make about $1,100 a month in profit after taxes, insurance, and escrows. That's after everything's paid for. Then you take the 1,100 times 12, whatever that number ends up being. It's about 13,000, a little under 13,000, and there, or maybe a little over. And then you divide that by his $68,000 down payment, and that'll give you your cash on cash return. And then he's going to have a tenant in there that's going to be paying down the mortgage, and the property will be appreciating, appreciating. It will be an appreciating asset while somebody else is paying down. Now, how do you get that information? Go to your Department of Community Affairs in your local city and get it. They should have a PDF of what the government will pay out for housing in your area. I have a PDF with all the zip codes in the metro area, and so I can advise my investors how to do that. So that's a great thing you could do between now and the end of the year to help your investors make a good investment and get you another sale. Okay, so that was for free, and that wasn't on the slideshow. But now let's go into the slideshow. Maybe let's try it. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna go through some steps of what we.
Jane, can I just add one quick thing there? The investor, that's a great idea because people are looking to diversify. And we've done a training. We've had a couple of trainings on done for you real estate. And so keep that in mind, everybody. And if you don't know what that is, I'm going to put the training in. I'm going to look it up and put it in the chat. Because maybe your local market is a little bit pricey for your investors, but done for you is a great option for your investors. And I love that tip coming into the end of the year. So sorry to interrupt, but I'm gonna put that in the chat for everybody to watch, and keep in mind, if it doesn't work in your local market, reach out to Done for You.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll put a plug out there for Atlanta. If you guys are interested, you just can reach out to me, and I'll definitely make sure you're protected on commissions and all that kind of stuff. If you have any investors, wherever state you're in, we'd be happy to get you the same kind of hookup. All right. So what do we do each day? So going into 2025, okay, it's all about how we're setting ourselves up on a day-to-day basis. What you do now will show up 90 days from now. Good, bad, or other. It's not good or bad. It's just is. All right. So number one, we want to eat our frogs first in the morning. If you don't like to exercise, or you or do something spiritual, whatever it is that you do. Spiritual for me, it's God and Bible, but for you, it may be something different. And reading. Do these things at first thing in the morning. I typically will wake up. I thank God for giving me another day. Then I'll do a Bible study. I'll pray. Then at that point, I may talk to my girlfriend for a little bit, which gets me some of that personal time that I need. Gives me that personal connection with her. And then I may read something. I'll definitely go. I go to the gym anywhere from, 2 to 6 days a week, depending on the week, depending on what's going on. So those are the things I do. I was at the gym at 7:30 yesterday, and let me tell you, here's another free thing, guys. People who go to the gym are successful. People who go to the gym typically have money. There's a guy who has a Ferrari that goes to my gym. I know him. And so I will tell you, I went to a class at the gym a few months ago in May. I wore an EXP shirt. And then the lady turns around and says, "Hey, I'm looking to buy, you do real estate?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm looking to buy a house. We just closed on her house a month ago. I made $13,000 for showing up at a HIT class in the gym." Another time I was working on the free rates about 6 weeks ago. The guy next to me, I just said, "Hey, how you doing?" Always say hi, even if they have earplugs on. Just say hi. If they look friendly, say something. Guess what? He's now one of our agents for EXP. I'm just saying, going to the gym, you're taking care of you. You're doing something good for you, but also it's a great place to meet people who are successful and can maybe help you with your business. I'm not saying you're going to get a closing or attract an agent every time you go to the gym, but at least you're giving yourself the opportunity and you're doing something good for your body. So it's a win-win all the way around. So step 2. So the question I want to ask you is, what do I need to do each day to have the life that I always dreamed of? I'll let you ponder that for a second. What work do I do? I would encourage you, don't chase shining objects. In real estate, that's really difficult. You get hit up. phone calls, emails, text about this system, that system, whatever. Now we're ready to work, but what are we going to work on? So going back to what I talked about visualization, what is that life that you always dreamed of? I don't have the answer to that for you. That's your personal journey. But if you have a certain lifestyle or certain thing that you dream of, how are you going to get there? The beautiful thing about real estate is there's so many ways that you can get there. You can sell houses. You can work with investors. You can bring on agents. There's just so many different avenues that you can go to get to a certain spot. But what avenue are you going to choose? For the course of this, we're talking about selling houses, because that could be the easiest way to make a lot of money in a short amount of time. So what is it that we're going to work on? So I want you to think everything we do from this slide out. I want you to think about your dream. Then everything else I say, I want you to keep the dream in the forefront. Keep the dream in the forefront of your mind as we go through the remaining slides. And I want to just show you something. Like for me, let's see if I can do this without the notifications on. But look, I have a vision board on my phone. I keep my vision on my phone because every time I pick up the phone, I know what I'm looking at. And that was a goal period where I wanted to make $40,000 in 8 weeks, which I actually made about $68,000 in 4 weeks during that time period. But I set the intention that that's what I wanted to make. I set that intention up and I exceeded my intention. The other thing you saw in the middle of the screen was agents and who I want to reach out to and how many people, what am I looking to do, right? So that's going to look different for you. That look different for Brianna, it'll look different for Kathy, it'll look different for Sean, it'll look different for Tim, it'll look different for everybody. So now we're getting ready to work. But what are we going to work on? So step number 3, in order to prospect, you must have a list. List comes in different forms. So I remember going to trainings and they said make a list. Let me tell you guys, I don't like making lists. I don't like anything where I really have to write anything down, just to be honest with you, just being truthful. I don't like doing lists and things like that. So what if you're me and you don't like writing a list? What are you going to do? Well, you have, I'll call it tribes. We'll just call it tribes. You have different tribes that you're part of. It could be a church. In Brianna's case, it's her school. It could be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. For me, I have a little fun car that I can go to car shows. That's a tribe. You know, I have Lamborghini and Ferrari owners that I met at car shows for bringing my car. You don't think I follow up with those people? Those are good people to follow up with, right? If they drive in a Lamborghini, those are people you want to stay in touch with, right? And create friendships and relationships with, because you never know where they're going to go. The gym is a tribe. If you're at the gym, you all have something in common. You all like to, everybody likes to work out. Everybody likes to do that. So think about who it is that you are around. And that becomes your tribe. It could be your neighborhood. Your neighborhood could become a tribe. I just got a listing in my neighborhood. I've sold houses. I've sold a couple houses to people that were renting in my neighborhood. I actually have an investor that literally directly across the street that reached out to me and I helped them buy an investment house. So think about who those people are. Did I have to write anything down with anything I just said? Not really. You didn't. You could probably just, I'm going to call so-and-so. And then here's the key. Here's what I do is I would keep a spreadsheet. I used to keep a written list. And for me, I will probably never, ever go back and look at those written lists of people I talked to in a notebook. I used to have a notebook. I have notebooks going back 10 years of people I've talked to and prospecting sheets and notes and conversations. And, what I started doing is started doing it all in an Excel sheet. And just while I have the conversation, I can go quickly, go back, and then I'll color code. If it's a hotter lead, I'll put a green by it. If I didn't reach them on a follow-up, I'll put a yellow, which means I still need to go back and follow up with them. If it's something dead, it's being red. Sometimes it's just calling past clients. Okay. The other thing is call people on your list or in your tribe a minimum of 10 a day. Now, this doesn't have to be complicated. Okay. I don't know. Say there's a brand new agent on here and you've not done any business, like you've never even sold a house. Well, what do you say? Hi, Sue. This is Jamie. I got some big news. I'm part of one of the most successful real estate teams in all of Atlanta. And guess what? We are accepting new clients. Do you know anyone who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the next 90 days? Brianna, was that hard? That wasn't hard. You could even send that in a text. You could send that in a Facebook Messenger. People typically respond on Facebook Messenger, by the way, y'all. And especially if you interacted with anything that they've posted. You don't even have to make that, say you're scared of the phone, send a text. I promise you, typically people will respond to your text. Most people do respond to those text messages, statistically speaking. So there's step 3. Let's go to step 4. Social media. And just I want to give a shout out to Icon Coaching, because I got a lot of this from Sean Kokoska with Icon Coaching, because I did this in 2020, and I'll tell you more about it, what happened. So 20 interactions a day on social media. Then you want to comment on 10 people's posts each day, make 10 comments, send 6 private messages, do a share, add 2 more people to your network, friend or follow, and make at least 1 post every day. What I've done recently is I'm very consistent on Facebook. That's my favorite platform. Very consistent on there. Most of what goes on Facebook ends up automatically being posted on Instagram too. So it's kind of a 2-for-1. Then I also want to do 3 posts on LinkedIn every week. And then also want to post 2 TikTok. And there's another platform, and I can send you, look this up. It's called Clapper, CLAPPER, which looks exactly like TikTok, but it has a much different algorithm. It's much more organic. Where TikTok has paid stuff, Clapper does not. You can actually gain a lot of followers. It's interesting to see between the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Clapper, TikTok, when you post the same in LinkedIn, when you post the same video on all 5 platforms, what happens and how many more views you get on one or the other. For me, Instagram gets the least amount of views on the reels. For me, and I don't even have tons of TikTok followers. I only have like 150 or 200, but I get most of my videos get 650 to 1,000 views for the most, usually, but even that few followers. Imagine what would happen if you had more followers. So that's what you want to do each day. That's what you want to do with social media. Don't let social media intimidate you. All of this, if you were to do all of this, maybe takes 30 minutes. And don't overthink. Sometimes you overthink you're going to leave a comment for. I mean, I've done that. I remember when I was really trying to leave 10 comments, you say, oh, 10 comments, that's pretty easy. And I was like, oh my gosh. Then you started looking, why don't I want to leave a comment? Just leave comments. And it doesn't have to be on Facebook. It could be on Instagram. It could be on TikTok. It could be whatever platform that you like. I will say that when you leave a comment for somebody on Facebook, they typically do interact with you. That is not necessarily the case in my experience with the other platforms. So if you're trying to get that interaction with somebody, Facebook is probably the best one to actually get interaction with versus the other platforms. I don't think I've ever responded or have very little interaction on TikTok with. I had one video that got 24,000 views. I didn't have any. I responded to all the comments, but nobody responded back once you responded to them. I had probably 100 comments on that video. I don't know why it got 24,000 views. I still have to, sometimes we don't know why one gets 5,000 views and why one gets 50 views. We have no idea. But that's social media. Social media is for y'all. Doesn't cost anything. So go ahead and use it to your advantage. I just sold a house for 810,000 or 820,000, and they had been looking at me. They had been she had been basically following me for 10 or 12 years on Facebook. And originally was part of a company that Kathy and Sean and I were part of, was originally part of my group there like a long time ago. Didn't really ever talk to her. She's like, I like what you're doing on Facebook, and ended up buying an $820,000 house just by my posts. You know, I had somebody else that I've been sending houses to for 10 plus years, that a couple of years ago finally bought a house. Does it cost you any money to keep sending them houses on the MLS? No, it's free. Just keep it up. Just make sure you stay in touch with people. All right, so that's step 4. Let's go to step 5. Maybe. Consistency. So what is an icon? You heard Kathy mention icon. So an icon is a person or thing regarded as a representative symbol. So the question is, whether you're with EXP or with another company, it doesn't matter. Do you want to be an icon for your community? Do you want to be an icon for your family? Do you want to be an icon in your business, in your neighborhood, in whatever it is? Do you want to be an icon? Do you want to be regarded as a representative symbol? If you're a real estate agent, the answer to that should be yes. Because you want to be, when people think about real estate, you want them to think of Jamie or Kathy or Sean or Brianna or Tim. You want them to think of you. You don't want them to think of anybody else. You want to be the person that they think about. So how do you do that? We talked about consistency. What is 10 or 20 daily? I said a minimum of 10 contacts daily and 20 social media interactions daily. If you really want to be crazy, you could do 20 contacts daily. That's 100 contacts a week. You know, sometimes it takes 4 hours to do that, or 3 hours, or 2 hours, and sometimes it gets done in 30 minutes. It just depends. Contacts, and you don't have to necessarily talk to them. Talking to them is always best, but you can text them as long as you have some kind of interaction with them. A contact, it does not count unless you've had an interaction. Just because you send a text, and if they don't respond to you, then nothing happened. That does not count. Do not cheat yourself. Contact's going to also look a different way. What if one day you just went out? I know somebody who built their business literally handing out 25 business cards a day. Every day they talk to 25 people. They may not have gotten names and phone numbers, but they handed out 25 business cards every single day, everywhere they went. You could do that. You could go to Sam's Club and do that in an hour. Why not? Just walk up to somebody, compliment them. Hey, I really like your shirt. You live in the area? Well, I love your shoes. No, especially if they have a nice pair like Air Jordans on or something like that. You know, people love to talk about that stuff because they spend a lot of money on that stuff. Let's talk about past clients. If you have past clients, don't be afraid to follow up with them. Like I have an opportunity. I was on HGTV on House Hunters a couple of times, two episodes last year, and the producers reached back out to me, and they were looking to do more filming in Atlanta. And so what did I do? I started talking to my past clients. Hey, who do you know who would love to be on House Hunters or on HGTV? And guess what? I got a closing out of it. We didn't end up going on the show because of their work schedules, but hey, I would have never had that client, and that was a $12,000, $11,000 commission, something like that. All I did was pick up the phone. And the funny thing is, that particular client, I almost didn't even call them. I said, oh, they won't know anybody because they weren't one of my higher price clients. And of course, they sent me over to somebody. So you just never know. You don't know who's going to refer you to somebody. Coworkers, if you're still working, or if you worked. You may have worked previously somewhere before you started doing real estate. Those are good people to talk to because you already have some kind of commonality with them. And of course, business owners, if they're a business owner, you know, they know other business owners, or they may know other people with money or whatever. And so those are all good people to talk to. And we could keep going. We could keep talking about this, and we could brainstorm, and I could take everybody off, and we could leave comments and stuff of who you should talk to. But I think you're getting the idea of who you should be talking to. And also don't discount. You heard me kind of do a little bit of a discount where I said I almost didn't call those people because they weren't one of my higher price clients. Well, guess what? I have a client that I way back in 11 or 12, I sold $100,000 house for. And they kept on buying houses, these cheap houses back in the day. They did end up referring me to a few other people. They referred me to one of their cousins who's now buying. We still have some houses in Atlanta you can still get for, in this case, it's a condo they're buying for $130,000. But they referred me. It turns out that both of this one who's buying the condo for cash for $130K, both of her kids are doctors or medical doctors. And guess what? I've got a house under contract for one of her sons that's going to close next week, a much higher priced house. Not $1 million house or anything, but still a nicely priced house. So you don't know who knows somebody who's going to keep referring you out to other people. Okay, so always ask for those referrals and ask, especially if you have a relationship with them, or you have fun with them, whatever. People like to help other people, because it makes them feel good to give. When you give, you get. All right, so we're going to hit onto one of our last slides. I'm definitely going to leave some open time for discussion, for questions, or anything like that. Let's see if I can get to that. Here we go. Results. So following this exact system, starting in March of 2020. Can y'all hear me okay? Looks like I'm frozen. The exact system starting in March of 2020 led to 15 actions in June and July, assuming an average price of $300,000. That was 125 to 100. Let's see you guys here. Hopefully you guys can hear. It looks like I'm frozen on my side.
Yeah, you're good now. You were cutting in and out and your video had gone. I think
Would
you're
this
good
change your
now.
life? How could you do this if you did this every single month?
You're cutting in and out.
It's freezing up.
Yeah. Maybe turn off your video and see if that will help. Sometimes that helps the audio, the connection.
Okay, Kat. Now. Okay, I'm good now. Okay, so it may have just been the.
Now your screen isn't sharing.
I think that was my last slide. Anyways,
oh, that's your last slide. Okay. That was better.
I was figuring that we'll keep it off, and we'll just go with that. But so yeah, doing that same system that I just talked to you guys about, because I knew when COVID started in 2020. I'm a single dad. I don't have any other income coming in. I don't have an ex that's helping out or anything. So I figured, what am I going to do differently? What am I going to do to make sure that, because we didn't know what was going to happen. And so by doing a coaching class, a group coaching class, I was able to accomplish those results using exactly what I just shared with you. And that's very similar to what we had done at Keller Williams, which we had a class at Keller Williams called Bold. Very, very similar, which costs a whole bunch of money to take, but very, very similar as to what we were expected to do each week in order to get the results. And usually during the 6 weeks of Bold, you would close 14 to 15 transactions. In this case, I closed 15 homes in 2 months during that stretch in 2020. while everything else was going on. I already shared with you everything else was going on, from earlier. So if you're ever stuck in your business and you don't know what to do, I just know exactly what to do. Why try to reinvent the wheel? Why try to look for something else that, in fact, everything I just shared with you on the slide costs you $0. I'm not, it doesn't cost you anything. Social media is free. Making 10 contacts a day on your phone is free. It's your time, but it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to do a lead. You don't have to invest in some system or whatever. I'm not saying I don't do any paid stuff. I do. But if you don't have the money for that right now, go ahead and implement this, and you will see an increase in your real estate business. You can't help it. It's just a numbers game. Real estate, simply, at the end of the day, is just a number. You talk to enough people, you'll get enough business. And Kathy just put on the fast cap, which starts in January. If you're an EXP agent in January, guess what I signed up for, y'all? I signed up for that. My cap starts over January 1st. So why not start out for it? Because that gives me
Jamie, you're cutting out a little bit. So for the fast cap, while he's getting his audio back, the average that starts in January, as you saw, where I just posted it. So there's a 6-week average, and the average is 4.1 buyer and seller appointments. The average of agents that go through that get 2 agreements, a buyer or a seller. And let's see, it says that the fast cappers who complete the minimum recommended real talks during the 6 weeks. So I guess that's in addition to the average agent that does all of that ends up with 3.8 agreements per agent. So you want to come out starting 2025 strong. I would say, Christy just said fast caps excellent. So I would encourage you to sign up for that. As we're talking about, starting 2025 strong. Jamie, you back?
Yes, I'm back. I just went on my phone. I don't know what's going on with the laptop, but it's fine. I just pulled up on my phone. So when our last, I guess we've got about 15 minutes left, give or take. So what kind of questions, that was my last slide.
Okay.
What kind of questions do we have? I'll leave it open to questions. I've been doing this 17 years. I've been through it all. I started out doing HUD homes back in 2007. I wasn't a listing agent, but I was a buyer's agent. I would stay up till 1 o'clock a.m. bidding on auctions and on those homes. And back at that time, we would get 5% commissions to get rid of these homes. And I was a school teacher at the time, so 5% of 100,000, that was $5,000. That seemed like a lot of money, considering I was pulling home about $2,500 a month on teaching. So 5,000 in one shot seemed like a lot of money. And so we would, I would literally work 18-hour days when I first started being teaching and then coming home and doing real estate. Fortunately, we're in a much different market for Brianna being the teacher. So we're in a much more balanced market. You don't have a 2008 happening where you have to do stuff like that. But bottom line, at the end of the day, opportunity abounds. The market is what you choose to make it.
Right, totally.
Guess what? People are still moving. No matter what is happening, no matter who was elected, people are still moving. Doesn't matter. They're still going to move. People are getting married. They want to buy a house together. People are getting divorced. They need to get rid of a house. People are dying. I hate to say that. I just finished an estate sale. It is what it is. People are dying. Their heirs have to get rid of these houses. And why not you? Because guess what? Somebody's going to get that business. Somebody's going to get it. So why shouldn't it be Brianna? Why shouldn't it be Tim? Why shouldn't it be Ann? Why shouldn't it be Toy? Why shouldn't it be Chuck? Why shouldn't it be one of y'all? Why should you let your competitor get that business? So we have to wrap this part up, inspect what you expect every day. How is the market?
The market is fabulous because no matter what the market is, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. And you keep moving yourself forward. Because at the end of the day, when you say the market is great, there's something called your subconscious, and your subconscious says, okay. And if you say the market sucks, your subconscious also says, okay. And it gets this picture, this negative picture. So whatever you're telling yourself, that is what will be. Good or bad. It's not right or wrong. It's just is what it is. So tell yourself the right things. And when I encouraged you guys, and I'll answer call on Toy here in just a minute, but you know, one of my other mentors, who a lot of us in here know, Rob Campbell, said, if in regards to watching the news and the media, if something's important enough, somebody will tell you.
Totally.
So don't let them feed you. You choose what you want to consume. If you want to watch a news channel, there's nothing, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but make that choice of what you want to consume. I would say if you're interested in news or current events, go on Google and do the research yourself instead of letting somebody feed something to you. Because you don't know what their agenda is and what they're being fed to you. And then, you know, these are people, the person who gave me that advice was the #1 Remax broker in the world. You think he knows a little bit of something about being successful? A little bit, just a little bit. So, Toy, you have a question?
Hey, Jamie, thanks for sharing your success. It's all the good stuff. I'm very piqued in interest about when you said government housing. I am into passive and housing type of stuff. So can you elaborate and tell us more about that? And how do you have that conversation with your people and get that started off by doing that?
So one, you want to find people who actually have some extra cash sitting around. And depending on the market, I don't know what market you're in, but whatever market you're in, you know, so the average price was, let's just go with the average price of $409,000 across the US. That's the average price. So someone's going to have to be sitting on about 80 to 90K to put their 20% down on their investment property, whatever that property is. Now, of course, there are different ways to do this. You could tap into a 401k, you could tap into equity in a house. I mean, you don't literally have to have it. There are other ways to do it. My client bought this on what's called a DSCR loan. Don't ask me what that stands for. I don't remember exactly what all the acronym stands for, but basically a DSCR loan is they do no income verification. If all you have to do is show that you actually have the money. So in this case, he had to show that he had $68,000 down, had to have a minimum credit score, whatever that minimum score was. Thank you, Marcella. Debt service coverage ratio. Marcella just told us. And then he was able to purchase the house. He didn't have to turn in documentation, tax returns, all that kind of stuff. It was just solely based on how much money that particular house would generate. Okay, so that is what. So that's the first part. So a lot of your investors may like that because it is a pain in the butt to have to strip financially every time you want to buy something, right? You have to like literally tell everybody everything. In this case, they just check your credit and they look at the asset that you're buying, they appraise it, make sure it's actually worth what you're paying for it. And then they probably do some kind of a rental analysis to make sure you can get it. Now, in this particular case, we're doing government. He's focusing on government. I'll be honest with you, in that area, if we did not do a government tenant, he would probably get maybe 2,200, maybe 23. Okay, a lot, considerably less money. That's still okay, but it's not great. Okay, it's only about a $300 a month cushion, 300 maybe 350. Not fantastic on cash and cash. That pulls you into about $4,500 cash and cash to buy that by $68,000 down. Those ratios are not that great. But now you go ahead and pull it in with the government housing, and that's going to be $3,003 a month for that client. So where do you get the information, Toy? You're going to have to look for your Department of Community Affairs. So this is Georgia Housing Development or Housing Authority or somebody. I actually have a property manager that manages a couple of properties that are far away from me, and she takes care of all that. But she was the one who helped me do the application. We have one in the process right now of getting somebody in. And sometimes it can, I'm not gonna lie, it could be a bit of a process. to do it. But once you get through the process and once you're approved, like I was approved by the city of Atlanta now, a housing authority. So we're just waiting for them to come in and inspect the house to make sure it meets the minimum standards, which, if you have a good property manager or you focus on whatever they have guidelines as to what those minimum standards are. And then you can make sure that your house meets minimum livability standards, gets inspected. And a lot of times they may even offer you a bonus if they don't have to come out twice. I think City of Atlanta offers a $500 bonus if your house passes inspection the first time. I was like, yeah, we're going to pass inspection the first time, and then get somebody in there. And then you're guaranteed rent every month. It's direct deposited into your account every single month. So regardless of who wins an election, regardless who the mayor of the city is, regardless of anything else that's happening, you're guaranteed. And not to get too far down the rabbit hole politically, but this is why we're seeing rents going up, because I hate to say it, but why wouldn't you do that deal? Why wouldn't you do that? We don't know how long that's going to be in effect for. We know there likely be some changes coming down the pike, perhaps. But for right now, that's where it is. So right now you have an opportunity to do something that can set your family up, for the future. Also be looking for other things that can help you. Like during COVID, they were offering EIDL loans. I got an EIDL loan. You know what I did? I bought a property with it. I'm a business owner. They gave me money, and I bought a property with the money that they gave me. So look for opportunities that are out there for you. Whatever those might be, there may be something coming down the pike somewhere else. Look for those opportunities they're always swirling around you. You just have to pay attention to what's there. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question, Toy. And I would just do some research. And if that's is a dead end, then find a property manager in the area. Somebody who does property management. I'm sure they can point you in the right direction. And also, there's a misnomer that what they call the Section 8 tenant. It's not really called Section 8 anymore. They call it housing voucher, but whatever it is. There's a misnomer that they're bad tenants, that they're terrible people, and they're going to trash your house, and they're going to do that. Now, I just had to evict somebody for the first time ever, and it took 6 months to get through the eviction process, and I had to fix my house, and they were not a government tenant. Okay, and I have not gotten money on that house for a year now through this whole process. So just saying, you can get a regular tenant and have the same thing happen. And then a lot of times with the government housing tenants, apparently it's pretty difficult to get a voucher. So once you get your voucher, you do not want to lose it. So they typically will do well. They typically will play ball with you, and the government comes in and inspects your house at least once a year. So if you have a rental house that's out of your area, which a few of mine, they're not out of they're in the metro, but it's still a good hour to get there. I'm not going to go over there just to check on the house. I don't want to do that. And some of them are areas I wouldn't want to even go to be honest with you. So, they come and check your house once a year, and then they'll come back with a report to you and what you need to do to fix your house. If there's anything that needs to get fixed. How sweet is that? You don't have to do anything. You let them come and inspect. They give you a list of items to take care of or not take care of, and that's it. And then you're good to go. So who else has some questions? We've got about 5 minutes left.
Any other questions? I had one on your social media. When you have comment 10 a day, do you put much care or thought into, does it need to be 10 different people every day? Like, do you track that at all? Or are you just doing 10 a day? And like, the algorithms with Facebook in particular, it's like the same people showing up in your feed a lot,
sure.
Right? And so do you put a lot of thought into that? Or I know I'm just trying to do 10 comments a day.
I'll see who's coming into my feed, but I have, like, for example, my Facebook, I have 4,500 friends. You could be very intentional and go through and not just rely on who's giving you those people. The other thing I would tell you is go back through your old posts, go in your memories. And I try to do this every day. I would love to tell you I do it exactly every day. I don't, but most days I do. Go through your memories. I did a post in 2020 about the election. You know, if you didn't like the results of the election and your candidate lost and you're ready to move out of the country, direct message me now so I can help you sell your house. Okay, I posted that in 2020. I got like 400 likes, and I didn't come up with the post. Somebody else came up with it. I don't know who came. I don't remember who the original person posted. I just copied and pasted their post. Okay, I went ahead and realized I hadn't responded to all the comments back from 2020. I started responding to those comments. Guess what? Everybody thinks I just posted. I was out and about the other day, and someone said, "Oh, I love that post that you just did about the election." I didn't have to repost it. All I had to do was go back and put more, and we got probably another 30 or 40 comments. And I think it's up to over 400, 500 likes, probably one of my best posts ever. I would love to claim credit. I did not. Disclaimer, I did not come up with that. But
yeah, I saw somebody post, similar, said, if you're one of those that said you're moving out of the country, if your candidate lost, call me.
Yeah,
call me to sell your house.
I saw somebody else do something like, tomorrow is National No Don't Fly Tomorrow because we have to leave room on the airplanes for all the celebrities that said they're leaving the country.
Yeah,
or something like that. And it was a funny post, but try to find the humor in whatever's going on. You don't have to be political. Those are not political posts. I would also tell you this: do not post anything political. Keep your opinions to yourself. Because guess what? I've got clients that are overjoyed with the results of the election, and I have clients that are absolutely pissed off and dismayed. I saw one of my clients that says, "I'm no longer on X anymore because of all the lies."
Yeah.
I don't know what that's all about. I'm not even paying attention to any of that. But again, what if I alienated them? I'm not saying which way I went, but I don't want to alienate that person. I don't want to alienate the person who's happy. If you're going to post anything remotely political, make sure it's all about unity and make sure it's all about that it doesn't create any kind of division. Like when President Trump got shot, and I would have done the same thing for Biden, doesn't matter who it was, it's their human being. I played my saxophone, I played God Bless America, and encouraging everybody just to listen and to be in unity with one another, that human life is valuable. I did have one person that still got upset with that post, even though it was not political at all. So be very careful what you post and how you post. You have to be Switzerland. I love, my girlfriend told me that. She's a hairstylist. And she actually had someone cancel their appointment the day after the election because they were so dismayed by what happened. They literally couldn't get out of bed. You do have people that are like that for real. But she's Switzerland when she's at her salon. She's yes. Okay. Yes, I agree with you. Yes. So you have to, as a real estate agent, as a business owner, you have to do the same thing. I would just encourage you to be that and be Switzerland and be neutral. That way you can attract the most amount of clients and you'll want everybody be in a good view, everybody reviewing you in a positive light, regardless of anything else that's happening in the world.
Yeah. It's all about humanity. Do you do any YouTube?
A little bit. That has been a goal for a couple of years. I have a lot of video content. I don't really have much of a following on YouTube. I think I need to redo my page on all that. I haven't really focused there. My focus has been mainly on Facebook. I do Instagram. I got like 1,300 followers. I've never gotten any business off of Instagram, but I do have a reasonable amount of followers on LinkedIn as well. But no, I've not done YouTube. But I have a lot of stuff I've posted on those other platforms. I have plenty of content to do the YouTube shorts. It's just a matter of getting it out there and doing it.
Just doing it.
Yeah.
Jamie,
all right, we're top of the go ahead. Who had a question?
This is Marcella. Hi, I just had a quick question.
Yeah.
I have a lease listing coming up. I was wondering if you would be willing to share the property manager.
Sure.
The seller is looking for some companies to interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Go ahead and then just reach out to me after the call.
Okay.
And I'll get you her information. Yeah, she knows a lot of people. She's been doing like property management for like 20 years. So she's
okay, awesome.
And the good thing you could tell your client, she's nice, she'll be nice to you, but she is tough as nails.
Doesn't play with the tennis.
She
Okay,
doesn't,
good.
she's heard everything.
Awesome.
Yeah, you've done it that long, you've heard it all for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Are you on Workplace? I think I have your cell number though.
Yeah, you probably do because we're both in Atlanta. But my cell number, if anybody needs it, is 404-483-7816. It's 404-483-7816. So if you guys have any questions about anything, if you guys want any support, or you guys need a rah-rah call, happy to
be
there.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Great. Well, we're at 11:02 Central Time, depending on what time zone you're in. So we're a little bit over. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same link for Connect to Collaborate. And it's more an open forum, mastermind. We can talk about some of the things that Jamie talked about today, dig deeper into that, or anything else that you are wanting to dig into. So come back tomorrow at same time, same link. Jamie, thank you so much.
Awesome, brother.
No problem, y'all.
Good stuff.
Y'all have a blessed day.
Appreciate you, buddy.
All right, take care.
Okay. Bye, everybody.